Okay, it's 10:25 a.m. What day is it? Friday, February 16, 2024, in New Jersey, East Coast US, New York City time. So I just woke up maybe a half hour ago, about 10 a.m., and things have seemed very special, very good. I can't describe it, why, it just is. And I think that you could hear me better because I had technical issues, so it should be much louder. I resolved that problem. Now, I don't know many days in my life when I've felt like this, but it's very rare. And all I could tell you is just everything seems very good in a overall way that I can't describe. It's like all the weight of everything that there is like gone, and just how I feel is totally free and good, and I don't know why, but it might have to do with what's happening now and what's about to happen. Of course, my health has a lot to do with this, but I don't think it's just, that everything has aligned and lined up, and I just happen to feel great for a rare moment here. And the feeling is like if someone, let's say it was it is the last day of their job and they're retiring, or they're moving very shortly, they're moving, and there's that free feeling that, you know, well, if you've gone through something like that, you know what I mean. It's like everything, there's like a burden lifted, something new, moving on, that kind of thing. The last day of high school or college or something along those lines, where you've gone through something a long time, maybe your whole life, and it's finally over, that kind of feeling. And the wind's howling very strongly outside, but there's a hint of spring in the air, a bright sunny day. So winter will be over soon, and usually people look forward to spring because they know that it gets warmer, life returns, flowers, butterflies, trees with leaves, vegetation growing season for farmers begins, and the long cold winter is over once spring returns. So this is like more of a spiritual allegory that I'm talking about here. I'm not just talking about springtime or the fact that I feel really good in a rare moment, but it feels like the past is over, like that kind of feeling, like leaving behind everything type of feeling, totally. I think just about everyone who hears me saying this has some idea of what I'm talking about. Something special happened in your life or something along these lines, and things seem to change. There's a sense of moving on, of leaving behind whatever it is that you've gone through, your past, your problems. Maybe you want to move somewhere else that's a better place for you, or your life of labor is over finally. You've worked your whole life, and now it's time to retire, and it's a relief. Or I don't know, maybe someone was has inherited a large amount of money, so something like that. They feel free. They feel like they're out of their bondage, their financial bondage, or whatever. I'm looking around here inside, and I was outside walking around, having this feeling in the sun and the wind and the coolness, and it's just that feeling, like I'm looking around kind of feeling. Um, I know it might sound pretty odd, but it's not really, because we've all gone through such things in our lives where we feel like this for like the reasons that I said, or it could be some other reason that that you've gone through, where it's like you say it's finally over. I can't believe it. Now, again, I didn't wake up and expect to feel like this or expect to even come and talk about this, but I felt that I should. And I'm not thinking about anything. I woke up. I wasn't thinking about anything. Just another day waking up. So nothing really is on my mind. Even though, I've been doing these videos saying how I've felt. But that's sort of an unction that came over me. That has come over me, and I kind of, leave it there in a sense, if you know what I mean. Like I'm not always hyper and running around saying, La Palma, La Palma, La Palma, that kind of thing. Or, the time is short, the time is very short, and I believe it is. But what I'm saying is, I just woke up to another day. None of that was on my mind. I just woke up and I noticed how great I felt. And again, it's been very rare in my life to feel like this. Very, very rare for a lot of reasons, a lot of problems. You know, I'm in my mid 60s. I've always felt like I've gone through enough problems in one lifetime for three lifetimes that three people would go through, not just one. So I don't think this isn't just wishful thinking. It's nothing like that. It really isn't. So all I'm saying is it might apply to the point that things could be at right here. It really could. Maybe why I'm feeling this, at least personally, that this is my testimony or just telling you what I'm going through, what I'm experiencing right now. Though others out there might be going through things and saying, I don't feel that way. There's total problems that seem to never go away, and how do we know that anything is going to happen again? That Jesus will return very, very soon here, maybe any moment. We've heard this over and over. And I know what you feel, I know what you think. Like I've said, I've gone through this for almost half a century waiting for the rapture, and I'm still waiting, not like hopelessly. I'm just still waiting, okay? And many people, well, especially if they don't believe in the rapture, they'll say, well, that's just some escape that Christians have. They want to go off in La La Land, like the Wizard of Oz, and make believe land, and find, magically find that their troubles will end. Well, that's not me. Actually, I can't even really relate to that. You know, I've always felt like, when is this going to end? When is this life I've gone through going to finally end? Because it never gets better. It seems to just keep going on and on, get progressively, or keeps up the same pace, the same problems, one after another. One thing happens, and then the next thing happens, and then it just keeps going on and on. But I have another perspective now, because I'm getting fairly old here. Mid 60s may not seem that old, but it's heading toward the final point of life here, you know. Um, so looking at it from that vantage point, I mean, whether I'm raptured or whether, you know, live out the rest of this life, which, you know, I'd rather not do. Um, I'm just saying, it's not just an escape kind of thing, though. Of course, if that happens, then of course that really solves everything, for everyone, no matter what they're going through. I'm trying not to make this too long, but I want to say what I have to say. I'm not talking about La Palma. I'm not talking about numbers or decoding. And I feel like that it's very possible that there's not even much time left to even deal with that anymore. I kind of feel that way. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of information out there of those who are doing this, who are decoding, signaling, explaining all of that. I mean, I could still do that, But I mean, I'm waiting here. Um, it's sort of a wait, different wait periods or whatever. So I'm sort of waiting for the next week or two, just waiting to see what goes on. That's all. And then of course we head into March and April. So um, all we are is really bystanders, more or less, in what's going on. By that I don't mean we can't be proactive or be involved or speak on things, and especially spiritually. Because I never know day by day when I wake up what I'm going to feel or think, or how I will feel, whether it's physically or emotionally or mentally, or any other thing, what's going to happen or what I'm going to do. But all I know is I woke up this morning and it's a very free feeling. That's all I could say. Very free in every way, circumstantially, the future, everything. It's like there's no burden. There's no even looking for what might happen. Like I'm saying, like what we're looking for to happen as believers, or what evil has planned, the timeline, or what they might be ready to do any moment here. I just feel free of everything. So, and it does feel like a moving on type thing, where maybe things aren't going to be the same as they've always been. Whether that has to do with the rapture, well, specifically, it seems like it would, because, you know, I mean, like I said, spring is coming. That's nice, but I'm not gung ho or excited just because the season is changing. But that can be an analogy too of spiritually, of what I'm saying, of how I'm feeling. A new spring, a new spiritual spring is springing, or has sprung. So I don't know if you're getting anything out of this, what I'm saying, or not, or it sounds like kind of odd talk. To me, it's not odd at all, because it's very realistic and it's very down to earth in how I'm feeling, totally. So I mean, like everything from A to Z that is imaginable in my circumstances and survival needs, you know, there's a problem or an issue or a lack, or it wearies me moment by moment, because it's the same thing every day. It's hard to keep up with things just in this regard. I get so constantly tired from what I have to do all the time, and it just keeps repeating. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't even look forward to sleep, because sleep problems, dreams, these crazy nutty dreams over and over every night, and sometimes spiritual attacks, and it seems like 24 hours a day it's the same thing over and over, one trouble or problem. I don't mean to be whatever the word is, belabor things. That's not why I'm here, just to say the troubles I've been through or whatever, or that I feel good. That's not just why I came on here. I don't know. Again, maybe there's a prophetical sense to what I'm saying, or reason, or an indicator is what I'm saying. Maybe this is sort of an indicator, if I could say the word properly. I don't know. I mean, I hesitate to say this, but maybe spiritually it's like a healing, or a temporary healing, at least right this second, and to make a video saying how I feel. So maybe something did happen spiritually, at least for a moment. I mean, I've had that happen in my life, especially when I first became a believer. I had so many problems, especially emotionally and mentally, but not just especially physically too, all around. And you know, I experienced a temporary mental and emotional healing for it only lasted a couple of 2 or 3 days maybe, but I felt whole, and I've really never felt like that since then. Like almost 50 years ago, I have a few times, and yeah, things are can feel pretty normal generally to a degree, but not like that. And I knew it was spiritual. I was healed, and it was so far beyond anything I've ever experienced. It was like, not to sound what's the word? Not to sound weird, but that's all I could tell you. It was like dying and being in paradise emotionally and mentally. That's the best analogy I can. Everything seemed so different and so normal and so special. And I'm not trying to say that happened here, but I wake up and I'm feeling like this in a special way overall, in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, um, circumstantially. Not worried about anything in the future. I'm not thinking about the rapture or the Palma or any of this stuff or prophecy. Just woke up and that's how I feel. And we all have spiritual experiences like this, and many times it doesn't seem to last. And we wonder why. Someone may think, well, I definitely felt like I was healed, but then now I don't feel like I was healed. Same problem or whatever. Well, I mean, things happen. Maybe it is temporary, but that doesn't negate the fact that maybe you were healed, or that maybe God's Spirit God didn't heal you, or something actually take place supernaturally, at least at that time. We don't know. I don't want to make this too much longer because it's hard to bear when a video is very long. But we wonder, why aren't people healed? Why? We look back into the days when Jesus was upon the earth, and there were miracles flying around. People healed, Jesus raising them from the dead, turning water into wine, fish for food, uh, multiplying the fish and the bread. People healed, all kinds of things going on. We say, well, why? Why can't we be healed now? And some are going to say, well, there are people healed right now. Maybe, but not. What I'm saying is, what about those out there who aren't healed, and they've prayed and prayed and asked and wanted to, or even been prayed over and over. And some who are maybe smug in their spirituality might say, well, they didn't pray hard enough, or there's some sin in their life, or they have to keep repenting, or they're not persisting in their prayer, not having enough faith, not holding on to the promise. And to me, that's a lot of baloney. I'm sorry, to put it that way, but it really is, because it's not what we do to be saved. It's not what we do to be healed. It's what God does. It's what Jesus does. And I don't know the mind of God. I don't know the mind of Jesus. Why? We wonder why things are, why they never change, why evil runs rampant over the good, why we're not healed. So maybe you will be healed. Maybe you will be healed. Is what I'm saying, and I feel God's Spirit flowing through me as I'm saying this right now. And if I come on and do videos, it's usually because God's Spirit prompts me, and I feel His Spirit, or to talk on certain things. And right now, I feel His Spirit going right through me in what I just said. So, if you may be healed, I don't know. It's not me saying this. Maybe you will be. Maybe God's Spirit is saying this, as I'm speaking these words. That's all I could say. Because we go through a lot of things, and it seems like false hope. False hope, People say the rapture is going to happen any second, or this date, or whatever, or you're going to be healed, or proclaiming something, some nonsense prophecy, breakthrough. It's your breakthrough time, and so on. Not that it might not be, but there's a lot of phonies out there. They have all these so-called words, and I don't really listen to it, because it doesn't seem true. It doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem authentic. They're speaking out of their own carnality, or for whatever reason they're doing it, their own minds, for the most part. Of course there are, you know, of course there's signs. Of course, like I said, it still exists. It's not like there aren't any signs, and there's those who are on the other side of this and say there's no signs, there's no modern day signs, there's no healing, there's no signs, there's no dreams. All right, I feel like I better end this here. I think I said what I had to say, and I'll just leave it there. Hopefully you took the time this far along in the video to hear what I had to say. I know it's hard. There's so many videos that exist and so many channels that it's hard to listen to anything beyond a minute because you want to say, well, get to the point. I really don't have time to glean through, 23 minutes or whatever of a video to get to the point of what you're saying, and then I might not even, really wanted to have listened to that. So, but I do feel a very special feeling, and even about healing. So I hope that you will be healed, and whatever, just by God's Spirit to be healed. And that's all I have to say. So God bless and take care, and maybe we'll see you very shortly in the air.